There's one writer who has had an enormous influence on me, more than almost anyone else. If I had to name the guiding spirit behind the 48 Laws of Power, it would unquestionably be Niccolo Machiavelli. I first picked up The Prince when I was about 15. Looking back, I realized that probably made me a rather unusual teenager. I still remember the cover of the edition I bought. It showed a giant hand holding tiny people inside its palm, as if one force was controlling everyone else. That image immediately drew me in, because it perfectly captured what I imagined power to be. At that age, I was already becoming aware of something that deeply fascinated and disturbed me. Whether at school or within my own family, I noticed that people often hid behind carefully crafted masks. They presented themselves as one thing while secretly being something else. I couldn't stop wondering why people pretended so much, and that curiosity naturally led me to Machiavelli. When I first read The Prince, I probably understood only part of it. Much of it revolves around history and politics, and I was still young. But what truly struck me wasn't just the content, it was the honesty of the writing. As teenagers, we often become frustrated by how fake adults can seem. We notice the gap between what they say and who they really are. Machiavelli didn't dance around that reality. He stripped away every illusion and looked directly at human nature. His message was simple: people pursue power. Everything else is often decoration. One idea of his has stayed with me ever since: the concept of the effective truth. The real truth about a person isn't found in their speeches or the image they project. It's found in what they consistently do. Someone may claim to represent virtue, morality, or religion, but their actions reveal their genuine motives. Machiavelli judged people by behavior, not by reputation. That way of thinking completely changed how I viewed the world. It taught me to look beyond appearances and focus on patterns of action instead of persuasive words. His writing was like cold water splashed across my face, clear, direct, and impossible to ignore. What's even more remarkable is the period in which he wrote. In the early 16th century, expressing ideas like these wasn't simply controversial, it could be dangerous. Yet he was fearless enough to describe political and religious leaders exactly as he believed they behaved, not as society expected them to be portrayed. That intellectual courage is one of the reasons his work still matters centuries later. Most people know Machiavelli only because of The Prince, but that barely scratches the surface of who he was. His discourses on Livy is arguably an even deeper and more sophisticated exploration of politics and history. His Florentine Histories reveals him as an exceptional historian. He also wrote The Art of War, several poems, and even comedies, including the brilliantly satirical Mandragola. Few people realize how creative and versatile he truly was. Beyond his writing, he seems to have been a fascinating human being. Witty, charming, passionate, and full of life. He enjoyed romance, appreciated beauty, and lived with an energy that feels surprisingly modern. He's one of those rare historical figures I often wish I could have met. I like to imagine we would have had endless conversations about power, human nature, and history. As a small coincidence, we even share nearly the same birthday, which has always amused me. Maybe that's why I've always felt a strange connection to him. More than anything, I've always admired Machiavelli's realism. He refused to accept comforting illusions. He insisted on seeing people as they truly are, not as they wish to appear. That perspective shaped the way I think, and without question, it became one of the strongest influences behind the 48 Laws of Power. So Niccolo Machiavelli, wherever history has carried you, thank you.